Touch grab if you want, back your corner.
The co-main event of the evening, brought to you by Monster Energy. You could make a case for this being one of the main events of the year.
All right, judge.
The upset specialist.
Judge time. Ready? Ready? Fight!
Against the most enduring world champion in one championship history. McLaren will be the most energetic of the two at the beginning, on their feet.
Yeah, we got to see how McLaren's striking has improved. It seems to be the biggest hole in his game, but he's said he's been working so hard on his boxing, but he immediately shoots in for the takedown. Bibiano is able to control the top game and end up on top. Now he's trying to step over. This is where we rarely see McLaren. We rarely see him on his back. Bibiano slides him right over to the cage.
He gets wheelbarrowed into the cage wall.
And what that's going to do, that's going to prevent Reese McLaren from throwing up any submission attempts because he's not able to create any space. And Bibiano is going to be able to pressurize him, suck a little bit of his energy out, and dish out a little bit of ground and pound.
Ridiculous strength from Fernandez to upend McLaren like that. And McLaren is a very strong young man.
Oh man, I've spent a lot of time on the mat with Bibiano, and it is incredibly frustrating that a man that size can control you so easily, just manhandles people.
Last fight for Bibiano was back in January of this year when he beat Kevin Belingon, Filipino.
That was nice. McLaren tried to put his foot on Bibiano's hip, but Bibiano was able to sidestep it out and pass right over it. McLaren's good on him, though, to get back up to his feet.
Sends in that left hand from the southpaw stance, McLaren.
McLaren's being active on his feet, staying nice and light on his toes. Throwing out strikes, landing some. Bibiano closes the distance. Got to make sure he keeps his hands up, though. Bibiano trying to go for that knee tap takedown. McLaren able to fight it off. Ooh. Inside leg kick landed by Bibby.
Approaching the midway point in the first round. This, remember, five-minute rounds, and judges will score the contest in its entirety. Quite a few of Bibiano's fights go the distance.
Nice, able to slide under that punch, lace up those legs. Now he's trying to work his way into mount, but McLaren's doing the right thing. Got that butterfly guard going on, trying to fight off the legs there.
Not many fighters in the world who have the experience of going 5 rounds the extent that Bibiano Fernandez does. He knows exactly how to pace himself.
Now Bibiano's got him cradled in. Let's go with that. McLaren's got that butterfly guard where his hands are, his shins are on the inside of Bibiano's thighs. But it's so hard. I mean, McLaren just received his black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but like Bibiano's been a black belt for most of his life, so he submits and regularly beats other black belts. So his jiu-jitsu is just on a completely another level. But McLaren's doing a really good job because this is MMA. And the punches change things. Being able to punch changes a jiu-jitsu fighter's game. Now McLaren's looks like he's got a half guard, sort of a hat, like a lockdown position on that foot where Bibiano's a little bit harder for him to get out of it.
Crowd here totally absorbed in this one, Mitch. Full house here at the Mall of Asia Arena.
I like how Bibiano uses his head. He's always got his head in the right position. So he's trying to put his head up against the chin of McLaren just to make sure he can't quite move his way. He can also pin him to the ground.
Chance of Bibi, I think, from the crowd behind me. He's a very popular fighter.
Bibiano's a methodical jiu-jitsu player. He's going to slowly try to pass the guard, end up inside control, work to the mount, go for the finish.
Watch out your head, watch out the head.
Yeah, Bibiano's head came down on McLaren's. No question that it was intentional, but that's what Olivier Coste is just having a word about.
This could be a long fight, Steve, because McLaren is showing good jiu-jitsu defense. He's able to secure a lot of positions and defend quite well. So he's going to make Bibiano work for this, and this fight could be contested or decided on their feet.
Final 10 seconds of the opening round then. D88.com fight of the night if you're a big fan of chess matches, enduring contests.
All right, time.
First 5 minutes in the books. We move ahead to the second round.
All right, fighters ready? Ready? Fight!
Reese McLaren 9-3, Bibiano Fernandes 19-3. Another busy, high-energy start from the Australian.
This is going to be the best area for Reese McLaren. He can outwork Bibiano here and really land some significant strikes and possibly outwork him, because the striking could be even here. And look at this, McLaren going for the takedown, and that's what he's known for. We're not used to seeing McLaren on his back. Look at him trying to get inventive. I like this. I like the confidence that he's showing here. Ooh, nice right hand landed by Bibiano.
Pressing the champion up against the cage. And he will get a taste of McLaren's strength.
Now he's trying to press the champion up against the cage, trying to possibly work for a takedown. Much more aggressive, offense from McLaren.
Forearm and elbow smashed into Fernandes' face there as he came off the cage.
I also like the angles that he's working out. He kind of shuffles his feet and then circles to the outside of Bibiano, away from his power hand, and then setting up some strikes. So he's giving Bibi some different looks to try to, understand. See, Bibiano's going to catch that leg kick.
He's done it several times, hasn't he?
Catches the leg kick, closes the distance. But look at McLaren, spin him around, getting him pressed up against the cage.
He's looking to catch that leg every time it's thrown up at him. And you don't want to be fighting on one leg.
Bibiano's got to be careful with that hand, keeping that hand low down by his chest. McLaren's throwing that left kick.
Ooh. Was that a slip, or was there a bit of a sweep in there? Ooh, right hand from Fernandes, just after a little left-hand feeler.
Bibiano lands a right hand. Reese McLaren,
push McLaren back.
Shakes it off, smiles at him, says that did nothing. You don't want to take too many of those, McLaren.
Another right hand from Fernandes, and a left and a right, and McLaren gets caught again.
Now he's starting to understand the rhythm, and he goes for the takedown and gets it. Look how he laces up those hands. That's that long reach of Bibiano. Now he's got the back. Uh-oh, bad spot for Reese.
Looks to soften him up with the blows and then go for the attack at close quarters. Thinking about the knee to the gluteus maximus.
Looks like McLaren's trying to think. He thought about kicking out and spinning around, but uh-oh, Bibiano's got the back now. He's got the body triangle. McLaren's doing the right stuff, though. He's fighting the hands, doing the good right stuff. You can see a little bit of damage on the mouth of McLaren there.
Yeah, there's a small injury there. Shouldn't be a big problem unless it interferes with his breathing.
I think that came from that big right hand that he said didn't bother him, but it looked like it might have. Bibiano's starting to go for that rear naked choke. He's got the body triangle locked in. He's got about 1 minute and 50 seconds to work this position.
Elbow to the neck there from Fernandes. He unleashes another one, looking for the shoulder this time, the shoulder blade.
That's just part of the systematic breakdown that Rich Franklin was talking about. If you start elbowing somebody in the shoulder, if this fight progresses to the 3rd and 4th and 5th round, that's going to inhibit a lot of the punching. That's on his right side, too.
And that figure 4 means that McLaren's not going anywhere for a little while. Readjusts, changes up.
See, during that readjustment period, that's that small window where Reese can create some kind of movement. But it's so tough when you have somebody the caliber of Bibiano on your back like that. You ain't going anywhere.
Is this the beginning of the end? Fernandes has less than a minute now to work this near naked choke, if that's what he's going for, and he plays to the camera. And the audience here at the Mall Ovation Arena saw that, and it's brought them to their feet in various parts of this arena. That's the kind of personality we're dealing with here.
He's just a fun kid to talk to. He's got so much personality and charisma. He just enjoys being in there. And I don't think he enjoys being in there right now, but he enjoys being in the experience. Now maybe he's doing a good job at defending. I mean, this is a world champion, third-degree black belt on your back, and you're defending quite well.
Look at that shoulder taking all of that elbow punishment. Bibby's got to be careful. He's okay. He's not hitting the back of the head. He's going for that shoulder, and it's bothering Rhys McClaren enough to try and block the punches.
No, that's going to affect him later in the fight.
For sure.
You know, he's not going to be able to keep his hands up. It's going to be harder.
Sharp point of the elbow, bruising that shoulder.
One shoulder. All right. Fighters ready? Ready?
Round 3.
Fight!
It is a fascinating contest, and remember, this one could extend for as many as 5 rounds. Big, expansive kick from McClaren that Bibby didn't quite get a chance to catch.
He likes that jumping Karate Kid kick, but it's just not really landing the way that he's trying to stomp the chest of Bibiano. But look at how Bibiano is able to close that distance, but he circles away, he's moving well, he's got good lateral movement, and he still looks fresh.
Such a fun fighter, isn't he? He's another fireball of energy. I said the same thing about Mark Striegel earlier in the evening. Oh, and a big left hand, and that sent Bibiano Fernandes back a step or 2. How will the champion react?
That was an impressive straight left hand there thrown by McClaren. It seemed to anger Bibiano. Now he's kind of going for him a little bit more. You got to be careful not to rush in because Rhys has still got power.
That's got to give McClaren a little bit of confidence. He went straight into the kick attack. Oh, and a big swinging left again. This time it missed.
Steve, look at Bibiano's nose. I think Rhys shattered his nose.
Well, he just had a little pick at it there, so he's obviously bothered by it.
Yep, Rhys McClaren broke Bibiano's nose with that straight left hand.
And he's dabbing at it again, Bibby. Clearly bothered by that injury to the nose. And Rhys McClaren is taunting the champion. Halfway through the fight, we're approaching that point, and McClaren has suddenly turned things around. Behind on Rich Franklin's scorecard, but that won't mean much if McClaren stops him. And McClaren is playing, sticking out his chin a little bit, grinning at him, opening those wide eyes of his, playing with the champion just as he did with our camera in the second round.
Look at the movement of the challenger. He's moving so well laterally. He's throwing strikes and immediately getting on his bicycle, moving those feet around.
Don't forget, McClaren is the upset specialist. He's just won his last 2 fights very much with that character. Will he do it again?
The champion has to get his composure here, close the distance, and drag this fight back down to his territory because the challenger is slowly inching ahead. This is exactly what he wants. Good defense by Rhys McClaren.
Big left hand, and that may well have landed flush on the nose again. This means Fernandes will have trouble breathing. Clearly he'll be in a lot of pain when punches land. McClaren is saying to the referee, take a look at that nose, stop the contest.
Nah, they're not going to stop the fight over a nose. Bibiano's an absolute warrior. It's starting to bleed though now. Now it's starting to come out.
I think there's an external cut on Fernandes' nose, and that's what McClaren was pointing at. He'll get any advantage he can, any help he can from the referee. Bibiano Fernandes' night has changed dramatically.
The heart of a champion. Will it be displayed, or will the real-life Rocky story come through and shock the world?
Are we going to see another incredible upset? Does this man have anything more to give?
I don't know if we can call these upsets anymore, Steve. We cannot call him the underdog because he is putting on a show. Look at this.
One day, we'll make him the favorite for a fight.
This entire third round has been contested on the feet, and he is showing striking superiority, excellent footwork, and damage inflicted is clearly evident on the champion's nose.
We've heard of headhunting.
Oh, the champion's going forward.
Is nose hunting, but he's had to take a couple of blows on his way to that point. A minute left in the third round. The championship rounds come after this. Somewhere that Fernandes has been far more frequently than his opponent. And Fernandes stays on his feet in this troublesome third round. You'd think with that nose, he'd be looking to take it downstairs, Mitch.
Yes, Steve, but this is the championship level experience. Bibiano has been in there against the best in the world, and he knows exactly how to compose himself, exactly what he needs to do. He might lose these 5 minutes, but he knows where this fight needs to take place. And there was a huge overhand right that hurt MCLAREN.
It did hurt MCLAREN. He brushed it off, but his palms up, saying, come on, you got more than that. Just a few moments ago, he shook him off, shook his head at Fernandez.
Oh, yeah, look at that
right.
big right hand. Reese MCLAREN better knock this up because he is angering the champion.
And the swinging right hand from Fernandez comes back. What a round this is. Is this the round of the year? The D88.com fight of the night must surely be a shoo-in. The bell for the end of the third round goes, and MCLAREN complains to the referee that you've got to stop this because the champion's nose is a mess.
Let's see what happens in the championship rounds. Now we're entering the meat and potatoes of what the belt is all about.
Will we ever make this man, Reese MCLAREN, an underdog again? If he can do this to perhaps the pound-for-pound best fighter in the organization, he doesn't deserve to be called an underdog, ever.
Steve, I think the corner was able to realign Bibiano's nose and get it pretty much straight. That is some excellent cornering from Bibiano's team over there.
Make no mistake, he's still in trouble with that nose.
Yeah, but it is. But it's he corrected the alignment a little bit more. Now I think maybe his breathing's a little bit better, but nah, it's still pretty much a mess.
MCLAREN's still the busier of the two in terms of his movement. He's taking the perimeter of the cage. Fernandez is stalking him.
That. He's able to take Bibiano down, but Bibiano popped right back up.
Left hand from MCLAREN comes in. He'll be nose hunting again, you can bet. There he goes again. Big right hand from Fernandez. MCLAREN goes down, he bounces up and smiles at the champion once more. The grinning assassin from Australia.
But when fighters smile, especially like that, the tongue out might be a little bit different. But that punch hurt him.
Doesn't stop it being annoying, though, does it, for the other guy? Takes a big, big breathe in.
I think it's a little bit of showboating, but it's also annoying Bibiano. You can almost see the visible frustration on Bibiano's expressions, the way that he's controlling himself. He looks like he's antsy, like he's trying to march forward and end this fight quickly.
Yeah. The weight of positivity has swung in MCLAREN's favor. He may not be ahead yet on the judges' scorecards.
Oh, nice right hand.
Right hand, wasn't it? That landed nicely. MCLAREN will get a little bit of respite in this position just to clear his head, because that certainly cuffed him around the jaw.
Either way, Steve, win or lose, we are creating a star here tonight in Reese MCLAREN. He is putting on a show against the incredibly dominant Bibiano Fernandez, taking him deep into the round and winning a lot of it.
Midway point in round 4.
Good defense shown by Reese MCLAREN. He's got this nice wide stance. He's holding the position well.
You saw that Rich had Fernandez slightly ahead. There was slightly more red perhaps in the Fernandez half of the graphic that we threw up, but the two more important categories showed advantages to MCLAREN, so it's very close on Rich's scorecard, and I imagine the three judges at cage side. The final 7 minutes will write this story to a conclusion.
But the gas tank that MCLAREN has is really evident. Look at his footwork. He's still light on his feet. He seems to be invigorated by that third round.
Fresh, isn't he? He's very, very fresh, you're right. Clearly in great condition. Trained for the fight of his life here against the man who he idolizes, to be fair. He said that he holds Bibiano Fernandez in great admiration. What a big night this is for the Australian. How big could it become? There certainly is external marking on the nose. It's not just an internal injury that Fernandez is struggling with. Breathing could well be a big issue. You can see that he's open-mouthed. That's an indication.
But one thing he's done, Reese McLaren stopped kicking. He stopped attacking the legs of Bibiano, which just kind of nullified the takedowns of Bibiano. He hasn't been able to catch anything and rush forward into the takedown.
Switching strategy mid-fight then. The Superman punch fell short.
Yeah, this is where the championship experience of Bibiano Fernandes is going to come into
Right
play.
hand from Bibi.
Beautiful right hand by Bibiano. You know, the showmanship, the flashiness, the tongue hanging out, it's definitely winning the crowd over, but Bibiano is staying composed, staying relaxed, and now that frustration seems to be gone, and now he's landing some significant strikes.
Kick to the midriff, and McLaren is suggesting that that was low. Great work from Olivier Host to get in there before Bibiano could follow up. He was quite right to follow up. You keep fighting until the referee tells you otherwise, but very alert from our referee. And Reese McLaren will get a maximum of 5 minutes to break.
Time. Fight.
Yeah, I don't think Reese wants to take the time. You know, he's definitely seeing the momentum shift, and he wants to get right back in there.
That's a great point. Yeah, why let the momentum die down if you're in the ascendancy? And he certainly looks confident. The bell chimes for the end of the round. We'll take you through some of the highlights, and then we'll get back to Rich. Can't wait to see how he's scoring this. Go ahead, Mitch.
See, here's this round. This round was very closely contested, but again, it wasn't as dominant as the third round. You see a little bit of showboating, but these are significant strikes that are landing by Bibiano. Rich, what do you got?
I'll tell you, in my opinion, I think Bibiano extended his lead a little bit more in that round. You know, I have the striking superiority up on the screen here, and the reason why is because the discrepancy between the two fighters at the end of the last round was much more significant. When you look at all the other categories with the ground control and the takedowns and all that kind of stuff, I believe that Bibiano has actually extended his lead here. So at the end of this round, I would have Bibiano.
Plenty of scope, even without a stoppage, for McLaren to come back in this fifth and final round on points, though?
If this was the final, the fight is very close. So with one more round to go, with 5 more minutes, either fighter could win this based on just points.
All right, ready?
Fernandes ahead, still anyone's contest though. The touch of gloves before the final 5 minutes, and again, a lot of energy exhibited from McLaren, who makes a fast start to this final stanza.
The condition of this kid is exceptional.
He drives Fernandes into the cage.
Look at the balance of Fernandes. That takedown has worked on every single opponent McLaren has had. Now the damage a little bit more on McLaren's face. I think he might have took another low blow there, but he shook it off to stay right in the mix.
Our first
to keep
contest,
the momentum on his side.
Excuse me, Mitch. Our first contest that's gone into the 5th round tonight could well be our D88.com fight of the night. As I said earlier, it could be up there for fight of the year. The way that this one has turned around. Still Fernandes slightly ahead according to Rich, but McLaren has brought himself back into this contest after not quite being in it in the first 10 minutes.
I don't think the judges will be swayed by, you know, this display of just antics that he's displaying here, or he's kind of showcasing here.
It's a crowd pleaser.
It's definitely getting the crowd on his side, but it also kind of got in the head of Bibiano a little bit, is just almost as much as that his fist did.
I think it might have done. You're right.
But McLaren is putting so much promise behind these punches. He's definitely improved in the striking game.
This is also where the tremendous experience that Bibiano Fernandes has will serve him very, very well. He's been in wars, he's been in roller coaster rides. He knows how to bring himself under control, last the full 25 minutes and get the best out of it.
Consistently pushing forward. Bibiano is trying to control the cage in the distance, but McLaren's just doing a good job of staying light on his feet, picking apart his punches, and really ripping out that jab there.
What tremendous condition McLaren is in. With less than 3 minutes to go in this fight, he is still bobbing around.
Oh, that overhand right sets up beautifully, closes the distance well with it, and is able to get into that takedown. Now he's got the legs. McLaren's doing the right thing. Look at how wide that base is. Bibiano's going to have to transition into something. I don't know if he can suck the legs out from under McLaren.
McLaren needs to have the better of the exchanges in this round in order to edge himself ahead if we're going by Rich's scorecard. The fight judged in its entirety, not round by round. The judges will have this one pretty close. More damage on Fernandes' face. It's been a problem since early in the third round.
McLaren very active, and that right hand was landed beautifully on the chin of Bibiano.
Couple of
he
good
set it
punches
up really
through.
well. Feints with a jab. Look at the way he's switching stances
from him. And in the southpaw stance, that's his biggest punch. It was a bit of a slapping punch, but it landed cleanly. Bit of an arm punch rather than full body weight and shoulder moving forward. But at this stage, certainly point scoring.
Inside leg kick landed by Bibiano.
Good work
They're so
from the
heavy.
hands. McLaren pulling off a nice 1-2 there as he came off the cage wall.
Nice body kick landed by Bibiano.
Gets one back, not quite as powerful from McLaren. The overhand right from Fernandes, who's still stalking his opponent. He's doing the chasing.
He circles out really well, so Bibiano wasn't able to press him up against the cage. He spun around, utilizing the cage very well.
Great appreciation from this crowd at the Mall of Asia Arena. A full house, and we're into the final 45 seconds.
Both fighters are trying to leave everything in the middle of that cage.
Who can leave their mark on this contest in the most indelible way? Fernandes.
Good takedown defense by Rhys McLaren, and also to exit with some punches.
They both quicken up the action. Inside the final half minute, the crowd on their feet behind me. Applause and cheers ringing around this arena. Final 20 seconds, the kick to the head from McLaren. What has Fernandes got left? Can McLaren pull out anything that will capture the judge's eye? A couple of spinning back fists. He looks up to the giant screen and sees that he's inside the final 10 seconds. Fernandes throwing everything he has as the seconds tick away. His championship belt on the line, and it will go down to the three judges at cage side after an absolutely thrilling contest here in Manila. Taking a look at the replay.
Let's go
with
back in
Chilson.
time and take a look at that body kick landed by Bibiano. Just this fight was an amazing battle of attrition. There's that left hand coming over from Rhys. Bibiano answers with a shot of his own. McLaren, this is how the fight ended, just throwing everything they had at each other. What a tremendous fight for the bantamweight strap.
Before we go to the judge's decision, let's get the thoughts of Rich Franklin.
These guys are making my job so hard tonight, let me tell you. Listen, it was a close fight even at the end with the stand-up war. I think I would actually edge that stand-up war out to Bibby a little bit. But the lead that he had from the ground control earlier in the fight, in my opinion, gives Bibiano this fight.
All right, quite clear from Rich Franklin that Bibiano has edged it and, in his opinion, has probably been in front for the entire contest. But Rhys McLaren, who is currently doing push-ups in the cage and doing laps of the cage, has made this a thrilling contest and is very much in the conversation.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 5 rounds of battle, we turn now to our judges' scorecards. Judge number 1 calls his fight in favor of the red corner. Judge number 2 calls his fight in favor for the blue corner. And judge number 3 calls his fight in favor of your winner, and still bantamweight world champion, Bibiano the Flash Fernandes.
By split decision, Bibiano Fernandes retains his title, but without question, that was the toughest defense he had to make. Rematch, anyone?